Hello, my name is Raja, and I would like to tell you about Robert Kiyosaki's story in achieving his success. Once upon a time, there was a child who was living in Hawaii named Robert Kiyosaki. He had two dads, a poor one and a rich one. A poor one was highly educated and intelligent. He had a PhD and completed 4 years of undergraduate work in less than 2 years. He then went on to Stanford University, the University of Chicago, and Northwestern University to do his advanced studies, all on full financial scholarships. But after that, he was just a poor government worker. The other dad never finished the 8th grade, but had become the richest man in Hawaii. The poor one was his biological father. The other one was his best friend's father. Once Robert was 9 years old, Robert asked his poor dad, "Dad, can you tell me how to get rich?" His dad put down the evening paper, then asked, "Why do you want to get rich, son?" "Because today, Jimmy's mom drove up in their new Cadillac, and they were going to their beach house for the weekend. He took 3 of his friends, but Mike and I were not invited. They told us we were not invited because we were poor kids," replied Robert. "Well, son, if you want to be rich, why don't you ask your best friend's father? Ask him to teach you about money," said his poor dad. Robert replied, "Do you mean Mike's father? But Mike's father doesn't have a Cadillac. Maybe he's just poor like..." "Shh! Why don't you just figure it out?" said his poor dad. "Okay," replied Robert. So the next morning, Robert came to Mike's house, then trundled over to Mike's father's office and said, "Hello, sir. I'm Robert, Mike's best friend, and I'm 9 years old. Would you like to teach me about money, please?" "Wow, interesting. No one asked me before." "Okay, Robert, I will teach you about money, but in one condition. And the condition is you have to work with me, but I would never pay you," replied Mike's father. Robert was stunned for a moment. Then he agreed to it. "Okay, got it." So every Saturday after that, Robert was working for free in Mike's father's mini-mart for 3 hours. 3 months later, Robert came back to Mike's father and asked him, "So, when are you going to teach me about money?" Mike's father replied, "I'm teaching you about money." But since when exactly?" said Robert. "Since 3 months ago," replied Mike's father. Robert was upset and thought he was fooled, then yelled to Mike's father, "You're fooling me, sir!" "You can come back anytime when you are ready, kid," replied Mike's father. Robert then immediately went back to his house and told his father, "I've worked for Mike's father for free in 3 months and he didn't teach me anything." "Yeah, you bet you are still a kid. Better not to learn about money. Study well, so the government can take care of you." Robert took his poor dad's advice and continued his study in the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy in New York when he was 15 years old. After Robert graduated from there in 1969, he came back to Hawaii and immediately worked for Standard Oil as an oil tanker fleet. His starting pay was about $42,000 a year, but he only worked for 7 months. Then he quit the job because he was bored. After he quit it, he met his rich dad, who was Mike's father, to learn about money again. Robert said to his rich dad, "I'm ready to learn how to be rich." His rich dad replied, "Good. Actually, you don't need me to learn about that. Just take my advice. Before you start your business, first, you must take a job where you can interact with many people. Second, try to build your leadership. Third, save your money to build your business in the future. And the last, make money work for you, not the other way around. Robert took his rich dad advice and then joined Marine Corps in 1970. He served in the Marine Corps for 3 years and he was honored with the Air Medal when he served in the Vietnam War as a gunship pilot. Returning from Vietnam in 1973, Robert resigned his commission even though he loved flying. He found a job with Xerox Corp as a salesman. He joined it for one reason, and it was not for the benefits. He was a shy person, and Xerox had one of the best sales training programs in America. He worked with Xerox for 4 years until he overcame his fear of knocking on the doors and being rejected. After he could consistently be in the top 5 in sales, he resigned. Maybe I should start a business. I read all of my rich dad advice. And I have enough money too, said Robert. Then he formed a company in 1977 that sold wallets. The company did well for some time, but unfortunately went bankrupt. Robert realized that he didn't really do the last piece of advice. He thought he was working to make money rather than money was working for him. So, in the beginning of 1980s, Robert tried his luck in a business that certified rock and heavy metal band t-shirts. He thought, this is a big chance to gather money from rock and heavy metal trends. I can work together with Metallica or Bon Jovi to build a brand. After 5 years later, Robert decided to sell his business in 1985. That was a great deal to get more money for investment. Moreover, rock and heavy metal trends were being replaced slowly by R&B. Robert said, maybe I can invest my money, so the money will work for me. Most of his money was invested in real estate. He thought, real estate is one of investment vehicle that has a great advantage. As long as I keep trading up in value, I will not be taxed on the gains until I sell them. The other reason he chose real estate simply because he loved buildings and land. He loved shopping for them, and he could look at them all day long. Nearly a decade later, after struggling to achieve success, Robert Kiyosaki became a millionaire and decided to retire at the age of 47. He thought in his mind, I feel rich now, but I feel like something is wrong. I didn't make any change for people. Oh, maybe I can inspire people with my story. So, 3 years after that, he rose once again in 1997 when he wrote his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that inspired many readers from many countries to be an entrepreneur. From Robert Kiyosaki's story in achieving his success, we can learn that every person has different obstacles in the way to success. Every person can be successful if he or she is disciplined and wants to learn. That's all from me. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.